Good morning and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this fine Tuesday morning. Put the fan on, cool me down a little bit. Is it a bit tad hot today? How are we all feeling this morning? Celtic still have made no announcement and bringing in new players this week as yet. It is only Tuesday morning. Do we expect much more from Celtic? I wouldn't think so, but there is a very Celtic conundrum playing out in the media. Celtic have been linked with quite a few players over the last couple of weeks, couple of years. We've been linked with Kasper Ho, and he's a player that scored in the Champions League. He's a player that was doing quite well in the Champions League last year. He scored 5 or 6 goals in the Champions League last season. Hence the reason that when Celtic wanted to go and get him in the last transfer window, in the winter transfer window, the club didn't want to sell him because they were still in the Champions League. You get that. It's only Celtic that go and sell players when we're still got a game to play in the Champions League. We'll come to that player in a minute. And do remember that. A player jumped ship from Celtic before the end of our Champions League campaign. That'll all come together. So Kasper Ho is a wanted man. There is a release clause that says that we can now get him for around about £7 million. I think £7 million is a good piece of business for that type of player. When you look at the fact that the Hassan deal is gaining a bit of strength, but the interesting one for me, people were talking about stats last night. There was an awful lot of going on in the chat, people throwing back forward about a certain player that could be on his way to Celtic, and the stats for that player were terrible, absolutely terrible. People went back years and said the stats are terrible. There's now chat about bringing back a striker that wanted away from Celtic for around about 7 or 8 months. He then, it looked as if he wasn't really trying. Let's be fair. You could tell he was in a huff and he was wanting away. And he missed 3 blatant open goals in his last Champions League game for Celtic. Open goals, missed them. Puts it past the post. But Kyogo wants to come back to Celtic, allegedly, according to the media and bloggers. Kyogo wants to come back to Celtic because it's not worked out for him. This is the player that wanted to go and play in the top 5 league. This is the player that said publicly that he wanted to leave Celtic because it's not a high enough level. And now he wants to come back. I would say yes to the Hassan deal. I would say yes to the Kasper Ho deal. I'd say no to Kyogo Furuhashi, a player that could only score 1 goal. In fact, did he even score when he was in France? I don't think he did. I think he only managed 6 games at his time at France, and then that was it. In 28 games, now remember, this is a player that wanted to go and play at a higher level. He saw the English Championship as the higher level. He could only score in 28 games. In the English Championship, he scored 1 goal. He played once in the FA Cup, he scored 1 goal. He played once in the English League Cup, and he scored 1 goal. 3 goals in the league. That is 1 goal every 1,008 minutes. Yet people want to bring him back. If Celtic go down the road of bringing the player back, what does it say to us as fans for the season ahead? What does it say for the future of the club? Because Kyogo Furuhashi might only cost us a couple of £1 million. He's 31-year-old. You're all saying that Callum McGregor's over the hill at 32. Make your mind up, because Kyogo at 31 will not be the prolific goal. Remember, this is the same striker that got bullied by every SPFL defender going. Every SPFL defender that was over 6 foot, shoulder charge wee Kyogo. He goes down, cries for his wee shoulder, and that's how he's out injured again. Give it a break. Honestly, I think that, and I hope that the Kyogo story is bullshit. Absolute bullshit. I hope it is. Because if Celtic go, you can just forget about anything. Forget about your protests. Forget about complaining about sack the board. If you accept Kyogo Furiashi back at Celtic, you're part of the problem. Because that is not progress. And I'm going to say that. And for all the Kyogo lovers that want Kyogo back, Baz, has Kyogo had his shoulder fixed? I don't think so. He's not had any. He was needing an operation, mate. If you remember, Ange Postecoglou said that he would need an operation to get it sorted, and he's never had any time out of football, any length of time out, to have his shoulder fixed. Bodo Glimt have a system in place for players who don't do well when they leave. They have a buyback option. I don't want a buyback option for Kyogo. Kyogo Furiashi's transfer market value currently sits at €2 million. He has done absolutely nothing since he left Celtic. People are crying out that Callum McGregor's past it at 32-year-old. Yet they want to bring back 31-year-old who scored 3 goals in a full season. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Anyway, he had no problem scoring in the SPFL. Mikey boy, he left the SPFL 2 seasons ago. If you really want him back, people are saying that Kyogo has had the operation. Well, there we go. He's had his operation and he still can't score goals. Don't try and convince me to bring back Kyogo, because it's a step backwards. We brought back Jota, and people are saying Jota's done. He's fucked. He'll never be the same again. For people that say you bring back Kyogo, you better not say a word on the channel about Callum McGregor all season. Because I tell you one thing, I put the two of them in the same bracket. They're at the end of their career. Kyogo wants to come back for a wee swan song and a bit of love. Oh, look, the fans love me. Fuck off, mate. You wanted away for the club. Piss off. No chance. Anyway, 7 million is cheap for Ho. It is cheap as chips for a player that scored recently, last season, in the Champions League. That goal scoring prowess for me is why Celtic should be going out and spending 7 million on Casper Ho. Casper Ho is a player that is of an age where we can still get good money for him. We can get a return on our investment. It's a very Celtic thing that if you want to buy a player, there is no return on the investment for Kyogo Furiashi. Casper Ho is 25 years old. Kyogo Furiashi is 31. I know what road we should be going down. And for the longevity of the next Celtic manager, for the benefit of the next Celtic manager, we cannot bring back Kyogo Furiashi. Are we prepared to go down the road? What happened to progress? What happened about playing 2 strikers up front? You all want to go back to playing Brodgeball, because there is no chance that we're going back to playing Ange Postecoglou football. Anyway, Kyogo, for fuck's sake, he's worse than Taylor. At least Taylor was a leader in the dressing room and off the field, secondary captain. That's mental. Yeah, they want to bring back Taylor as well. And then they'll all be singing Boyzone songs. Let's just bring the band back together. Michelle says, get both. She's on the wind up this morning. If we get Casper Ho, not Schmeichel, then we'll have 2 players that have scored in the Champions League. Kev, that makes no sense. I wouldn't want just Kyogo. I would want to sign Ho or both. If you sign both those players, you're at risk of losing Callum Osmond. Is that what you want? Do you think that here's one for you for the comments this morning? Is an aging, misfiring, couldn't score in a brothel Kyogo Furiashi better than a younger, more enthusiastic Callum Osmond. Because if you bring back Kyogo Furiashi, you're knocking back Callum Osmond down the pecking order. You're putting him down to third, fourth striker. Are you prepared to lose Callum Osmond? That should be the question that you're asking yourself. The question should be, are you prepared to lose Callum Osmond? Because if you bring in Casper Ho, if you bring in Kyogo Furiashi, and that pushes him down, he's going to say to the manager, why did I come here? Don't know. Callum Osmond hasn't proved anything yet. Callum Osmond scored more goals than Kyogo Furiashi last year. Just putting that out there. And even when he was out for so long, Baz, do a poll. Do a poll. There's so many questions that you could ask in the poll, though. Osman and Duran will be our front two. Yeah. Right, let's do a poll. There we go. There's a good way of it. Callum Osmond. Right, there we go. Oh, I put it both in the same one. Copy, delete that. Right, I've worded it a bit better. Because remember that what we're talking about is not just this season. We're talking about the next couple of seasons. So with that being said, what player would you rather have long term for the next 2 years? Callum Osmond or Kyogo Furiashi? This will let me see what you really think. And there's people voting for Kyogo. They are within our midst. Kyogo for the next year. You've got 2 years and 2 choices. What player would you rather have for the next 2 years? Young, vibrant, athletic Callum Osmond. Aging 31-year-old Kyogo Furiashi has scored 3 goals in two seasons. Callum Osmond has scored more goals at Celtic in the last year, considering that Callum Osmond and high-profile games, not just any old games, just talking about big games. Big games bring out big players, and big players score big goals. So give me your thoughts. What player would you rather have long-term over the next couple of seasons? Nicholson and Desmond are voting for Kyogo. They've got their phones on. It's like, Kyogo, it's 2 million. Anyway, right, let's jump into something. Hi Baz, it's never worked with ex-players. You're right. Yep, Paddy. I mean, there's I won't hope but end up with Ross Stewart. I bet. Osmond is a future star for us. Kyogo is a fallen star. Osmond all day long. Oh, fan Celtic is. I think that he's on a bit of summer love or something. Kyogo, he said, just Kyogo. But yeah, I think that this could be an account for Michael Nicholson. I think it's secretly Michael Nicholson's account. Fan 1967 tick. It's like this. Michael Nicholson said, "What name can I give myself to blend in? I need to give myself a real good Celtic name to blend in, so that they don't know it's me." But anyway, Callum Osmond, Baz, that's a no-brainer. In my opinion, Osmond, he will be better than Kyogo. Osmond's movement is much better than Kyogo's. Fans voting Kyogo with their heartstrings. Osmond all day long, and the board will be looking at that too, as they can get a return on him. I just miss Kyogo, lol. You've convinced me, Kyogo it is, says King Kong. Osmond is the future. Kyogo is the past. I would rather have Ho all long term. Yeah, this is true. Long time Osmond, but obviously we need wins now, which Kyogo and Ho would bring. Ho's not in the question. Stick to the question. Kyogo would not. How would Kyogo bring you goals? These were all going on about stats last night and about the winger that's coming to Celtic, and these stats aren't good. Kyogo's stats are terrible. Absolutely terrible. 3 goals in 28 games. But you're like, just bring him back, it's fine. See if you bring back Kyogo and he doesn't score in the first 10 games. Every single one of these will be, fuck, he's pish, he's shite, he's past it. I'm not even bothered about who leads the line as long as they score. Nobody can say that Kyogo wouldn't start scoring in Scotland. Lower standard. Plus, we have the majority of possession. Mikey, he was bullied off the ball in Scotland. That's why he wanted to leave. Just get Ho signed. He'll score for fun with us. Aging 31-year-old. It is in football terms. You know, everybody's saying that Callum McGregor's past it. He's only 32. Football terms, you're at the end of your career. Compared to the young Osmond, he's aging. I just wish I was 31 again. No, I don't. Fuck that. I remember what I was going through in my 30s. What a nasty, vindictive character assassination of Kyogo. Really? A character assassination of Kyogo? The man who downed tools for Celtic? The man who wanted away for over 10 months from Celtic Football Club, but we have to open our arms and bring him back because he wants to come back? Steady on. There was absolutely nothing vindictive about it. It was the truth. It was factual knowledge that's happened. Nothing vindictive about it at all. But shame on me, says Philip. Callum Osmond was injured most of last season. Kyogo played through his shoulder. There's the difference. We're talking about last season. Kyogo didn't have, if he had his operation, if he didn't have any shoulder issues last season. He only scored 3 goals. Callum Osmond scored more, even though he was out for injury so long. Are our nuts or just big rab? That doesn't even make sense. Anyway, right, that's enough of the Kyogo story this morning because there's much bigger things at Celtic to be talking about. Celtic do have a game this weekend. Will Celtic get in Casper Ho? Will Celtic go back for Julian Araujo? Julian Araujo, his value has actually crashed a bit in terms of values. He was once valued at around about £10 million. It looks like his valuation has dropped slightly. I can only see Celtic going for Julian Araujo if, and it's a big if we sell our little Canadian. Now, Dyson Maeda, who still isn't back at Celtic, even though he's been away from the World Cup for about 3 weeks now. He took to Instagram yesterday. It looks like he's still back in his homeland waiting for a deal to be done so that he could leave Celtic. And there was some 17 hours ago. And there is Dyson Maeda as well, back in his home country, saying, I'm not coming back to Scotland until in fact, I don't even want to go back to Scotland. Julian Araujo, will he, won't he? And then that's it for the players that are on there. Yeah. Odom Ohm's been on wait a minute, he's not playing. Odom Ohm playing football and training. Yeah, there is something way. I don't get this. I really don't. We were told the narrative was that this guy could not play football. The narrative coming out of Celtic was this guy is done. He can never play football. He has some kind of medical issue where he just can't play football. But there we go. He's playing football. Don't ask me. I'm just putting it out there. Alistair Johnson and then our good old Lagerbielke. Adam Eder. Whatever happened to him? Adam Eder scoring goals. Look at that for Swansea. Tell you what, why don't we just bring back Adam Ida? Putting it out there. Don't know, someone that gets Celtic, you'd pick him up for about 5 million or something, cheaper than Lowe. Why don't we just bring Adam Ida back? Just saying. Anyway, right, what time are we at? We're at 20 minutes. Jump into some of the comments this morning before we finish up. It's going to be a big day because we're all sitting waiting patiently to see if Celtic will manage to get a deal done today. It doesn't look like that we will. If anything, it looks like the only one that may happen this week is Daizen Maeda leaving. Hasim Hassan's manager has spoken out about the fact that he looks to be leaving the club. And Big Rocky broke his silence. I got a text last night showing me the Big Rocky and his statement. Who cares? He wasn't really a Celtic player, so he wasn't given a chance. But that is it. Anyway, Typhoon McFlustery, Baz, Celtic is fast becoming a retirement home. This is very, very true. It's to know. 31-year-old for an explosive forward is aging, says Liam. It's very true. He's old. As far as players are concerned, you can't say that Callum McGregor and Oxlade Chamberlain are past it at 32-year-old and then want to bring back Kyogo Furuhashi and say, no, he's fine at 31. It's bonkers. Right, I'm finishing up the poll because 85% would rather Callum Osmond on a long-term basis rather than Kyogo Furuhashi. 15% voted for Kyogo Furuhashi this morning. They live amongst us. Kyogo did well for Celtic, but they wanted to shoot for the stars. Unfortunately, he failed to reach the heights and crashed back to earth with a bang. No way back for me is just some of the comments. Going to jump straight to the end of the comments. Apologise. Bring O back. We couldn't afford O or his left foot. Is he not valued at something like 25 million? Is Gary Hooper playing or Pookie? Pookie went on to have a good career. Didn't he? He went on to score a load of goals. Adam Ida's on high wages. You're never getting him back. We lost enough money on him as it was. But why did we lose money on him? Because Brendan Rodgers wanted him out the door. There was something strange there. Adam Ida didn't even know he was being sold. He's training, getting ready for the game at the weekend, and then he's told, Celtic have sold you. What? Say what? Anyway, 31 a retirement home. Is Patrick Roberts. Oh, those were the days. Kyogo's going to be the new Patrick Roberts, isn't he? You just get named on him until he's retired. Please join Celtic FC Roundtable community. No. Fucking Roundtable. Piss off. Anyway, 15% just waiting on a good player. Yeah, 50% just want a good player. Kyogo would bring us goals and give Celtic opportunities. Michelle, listen, you thought that Shin Yamada was a player. Come on. That's enough of your nonsense this morning. Right, that's me done and dusted this morning. Patrick Roberts was at Birmingham. Maybe we can get two for the price of one. Kyogo and him. Cristiano wasn't past it. He's a dirty, cheating so-and-so. Anyway, have a fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are all around the world.